What if a civilization could build towering cities in the jungle, track the movements of the stars with stunning accuracy, and then see those same great centers fall silent? That is the mystery of the Maya. Not a vanished people, but a lost world of cities, temples, kings, and knowledge that once covered much of what is now southern Mexico, Guatemala, Belize, Honduras, and El Salvador. Their story is one of brilliance, collapse, survival, and clues still being uncovered today. For a long time, people imagined the Maya as a civilization that simply disappeared. But that is not true. Millions of Maya descendants still live in Central America today. What was lost were the great ancient cities, the monuments, the carved stone records, the urban centers that once pulsed with power. And that raises the real question. How could such advanced cities rise so high, and why were so many later abandoned? To understand that, we have to go back to the world the Maya built. Deep in the tropical forests, they created city-states with pyramids, palaces, ball courts, plazas, and roads. These were not random settlements. They were political centers, religious centers, and scientific centers all at once. Cities like Tikal, Palenque, Capan, and Calakmul became symbols of power. Kings ruled here, priests watched the sky here, and workers shaped stone into some of the most impressive architecture in the ancient Americas. The Maya were also incredible observers of the heavens. They studied the sun, moon, Venus, and other cycles with remarkable care. Their calendars were complex and precise. They used mathematics, including the idea of zero, long before it became common in many other parts of the world. That knowledge was not abstract. It mattered for farming, ceremonies, and politics. The timing of planting, war, and royal rituals could all depend on the sky. And that is where the story gets even more interesting. The Maya did not live in one united empire. They were many kingdoms, often competing, allying, and fighting each other. This made them powerful, but it also made them vulnerable. When one city rose, another might fall. When a ruler gained glory, another might answer with war. Their history was full of ambition, rivalry, and constant change. For centuries, the cities grew. Temples were expanded. Stelae were carved with dates and royal names. Trade moved jade, obsidian, cacao, salt, and feathers across great distances. The forest did not stop them. They adapted to it. They shaped it. They turned a difficult environment into a home for sophisticated urban life. But then, in the centuries after about 800 CE, something changed. In many parts of the southern Maya lowlands, large cities began to weaken. Monument building slowed. Royal records stopped. People left major centers. By the time European contact came much later, many of those great cities had already been abandoned and swallowed by jungle. Why did this happen? That is one of the great historical puzzles. And the honest answer is, there was probably not just one reason. Some scholars point to long periods of drought. Climate studies from lake sediments and other natural records suggest that the region faced severe dry spells. For a civilization that depended on rainfall and managed water carefully, repeated drought would have been devastating. Crops would fail. Reservoirs would shrink. Hunger would spread. But drought alone does not explain everything. There is also evidence of overpopulation in some areas, deforestation, soil exhaustion, and heavy pressure on resources. The Maya had built so much success that their environment may have struggled to keep up. At the same time, warfare between city-states became more intense in the late Classic period. In times of stress, rival kingdoms may have fought harder for control of land, trade, and legitimacy. Imagine a chain reaction. Less rain, less food, more conflict, weaker rulers, more rebellion, more abandoned fields, more pressure on the surviving cities. That kind of collapse can happen step by step, not all at once. And that is exactly what the archaeological record suggests. Not a single sudden fall, but a long and uneven transformation. Still, the biggest surprise is this. The Maya were not erased. Their descendants carried on. Communities survived in the highlands and lowlands. Languages survived. Traditions survived. Even after conquest and enormous hardship, Maya culture endured. So the real mystery is not where the Maya went. It is how much of their world remained hidden for so long, and how much is still being discovered now. Modern archaeology keeps changing the story. New mapping technologies have revealed thousands of ancient structures beneath dense forest canopy. Researchers have found causeways, fortifications, homes, farms, and reservoirs that were once invisible from the ground. The lost city is no longer just one place. It is a whole network of places, many still buried in the green silence of the jungle. So when we ask what happened to the Maya, the answer is both dramatic and human. Their great cities declined for real reasons. Climate stress, political rivalry, environmental strain, and social upheaval. But their civilization did not vanish. It changed. It survived in new forms, and its ruins still speak. That is why the lost city of the Maya is so powerful. It is not only a story about collapse. It is a story about brilliance, resilience, and the clues left behind in stone. The temples may be quiet now. The plazas may be empty. But the Maya world is not gone. It is still there, waiting in the jungle, waiting in the records, and waiting for us to understand it a little better.